Good morning, students. Welcome back to the online class. Today, your social class. In the last class, we studied about atmosphere and its different layers. And in this class, we are going to study about atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure, the concept of atmospheric pressure, and pressure belts and winds, planetary winds. First of all, let us try to understand what is air pressure. Air air contains small particles in it, tiny particles, a compound of gas particles. Air is a compound of gas particles. Particles and a kanalu, chinna kanalu. Air is a compound of tiny particles of gas, and these particles have a quality, a character. What is the character of these particles? They push each other. One particle push another. When they are staying nearby, what happens? They push each other. Suppose if anything is there in the air, the particles of gas, air particles, push that object from all sides. Not only from the top, but also from sides and also from bottom. These air particles push that object in the air. So this pushing is called, this pushing done by air is called air pressure. So this is the concept of air pressure. The push which affect any object in the atmosphere is called air pressure. And the air pressing down on the surface of the earth, because the earth pulls the particles towards the surface. What power of the earth pulls them towards it? The gravitational power. The gravitational power of the earth pulls the air particles towards it. As a result, near to the surface of the earth, there are more number of these air particles. When the number of air particles are more, there will be more pushing, isn't it? It means that there will be more pressure near the surface of the earth. This is called air pressure, and this is also called atmospheric pressure. What is it also called? Atmospheric pressure, which is a very important element of climate and weather. Yes. But the air that touches the surface of the air, something happens to it. What something? We know that in the daytime, because of the sun's rays, sun's hot rays, the surface of the earth becomes hot. The land becomes hot, or the ocean becomes hot during the daytime because of the hot rays of the sun. The air particles which touch the hot surface of the land, hot surface of the earth, either on land or on water, what happens to the air particles? The air particles also will become hot. That means the air particles receive heat energy from the surface of the earth, the hot surface of the earth. This heat energy make the particles very much active. That means these air particles become very much active when they receive heat energy. And what do they begin to do? They begin to move very fast. they begin to move very fast. They begin to move here and there, and most of them move towards the height, because when the air becomes hot, what happens? The particles go separate, go away from each other. It is called expansion. The air expands, means the air particles go away from each other. The air particles go up into the sky, into the upper atmosphere, upper air layers. And then what happened? In that area where the air particles became hot and spread away or spread around, in that area the number of particles become less. It is said that when air is heated up, the particles get more power to push each other. The particles of air get more power to push each other. That means by pushing other particles, these heated air particles go away. When the air particles go away from a particular area, the number of particles decrease there. When number of particles decrease in a particular area, it means that pushing decreased, isn't it? If the particles are placed closely only, they have more power, isn't it? There will be more pressure only when the particles are placed nearby. Now when the particles move away, there is no much pressure, there is no much pushing. So the scientists say, then the pressure decreases. There develops a less pressure or a low pressure in that area. The air that rises up, the air particles that are going up, what happens to them? When they go away from the surface of the earth, what happened? They began to become, they will lose their heat energy and they become sluggish. Sluggish means not moving very much, become very lazy. And in the height they become cool, and all particles become cool in the height. They come close, they come nearby, and when they come near, they form into a group, and there they push each other. But as they lost the energy, what happens? The earth pulls them down. Now they have to come down only. They have to come down. So they come down, the cool air comes down. When cool air comes down, automatically they will press the surface of the earth. They press the air near to the surface of the earth. So we saw here two movements of the air that is going up, the air that is coming down. Which air goes up? Hot air goes up and cool air comes down. These movements are generally called air currents. Ascending air current and descending air current. Descending air current are cool air current, ascending air current are hot air current. And we know that in this process, the areas where the cool air descends, that area will experience a cool weather, like that. So this is the vertical movement of the air. Another movement, the horizontal movement also is there. What is the horizontal movement? On the earth, we know that the earth's surface is not heated up in the same way. All areas are not heated in the same way. When some areas are heated up, other areas will remain cool. So in the heated up regions, what happens already we found the air moves up, and in that area the air particles become less. That means there is gap. There is gap, no? To this gap from the higher pressure area. Higher pressure area means there are more air particles. From higher pressure area, the air particles will move towards the low pressure area. This is a horizontal movement of the air. Usually we call it wind. The horizontal movement of air is called wind. So winds take place when there is pressure change. If a large area experiences same pressure, there will be no wind at all. Isn't it? So from this, what can we understand? What can we understand? When it is hot, the air pressure becomes low. And when it becomes cool, the air pressure becomes high. Air pressure increases. Once more, when the air becomes hot, the air pressure decreases. When the air becomes cool, the air pressure increases. This is generally called an inverse relationship. An inverse relationship. Inverse relationship between what and what? Between cool air and hot air. We can say change in temperatures. When temperature increases, in that area, the air becomes hot and rises up. Hot air rises up, and up in the sky, the air becomes cool and descend, come down. That means cool air exerts more pressure, and heat air less pressure because of the absence of molecules there. So this is called the inverse relationship of air pressure. Okay. Then, when the cool air accumulates in an area, the air becomes thick there, thick. In the space also, the air becomes thick because the hot air reaches there and cools down, because they lose their heat energy and they cool down, and they are not able to fight the gravity anymore and they come down. And the air pressure increases on the surface of the earth. And wind also, from high pressure area to low pressure area, the air moves, that is called wind. Now let us see how is this pressure distributed all around the earth. Usually the pressure conditions, temperature conditions all around the earth may be the same. Already you study about temperature belts. Temperature belts means the areas on the globe which receive the same amount of temperature, like that. Okay. The surface of the earth is not heated up in the same way. For example, the land and water. When we compare land and water, what do you think? Which of these two becomes very hot faster during the daytime? Land or water? That means land or sea, which will become hot very fast. Yes. The land becomes hot very fast, not the water. Because we have not observed land heating up, we observed only water heating up in the kitchen, isn't it? It's not like that. The biggest stove, the sun, heats up the land, the rocks and soil become hot very fast. faster than water. And land also. The land near to the sea and away from the sea. These two are heated up differently. How? The land far away from the sea are heated up more. They are heated up more than the land near to the sea. Such a difference also is there. Already we found heat and pressure are inversely related. There is an inverse relationship with the heat and pressure. So wherever the pressure is very much, the temperature is very much, what can we guess there? The pressure will be very less there. In which areas temperature is less, there is more pressure. So the land near to the sea and land away from the sea, in which area will be more pressure? More pressure will be on the land near to the sea. And the land away from the sea will have what pressure? Very less pressure, isn't it? So that situation arises because of the differential different rate of heating and cooling up of water and land. Cooling up, which is cooling down very fast, water or land? It is like this. Land heats up very fast. In the same way it cools down also. Land heats up very fast and cools down very fast. The water heats up very slowly and cools down very slowly. And we know that if the land is cool, the air above that will be also cool. If the air is cool, there will be more pressure. If the land is hot, the air above will be hot and there will be less pressure. That is the relation between land and water. So from this we can understand all around the earth the pressure is varying. Pressure is changing. Not the same pressure everywhere. The pressure changes from place to place. Depends upon the presence of water bodies. Depends upon the presence of water bodies. The pressure varies from place to place. It is not the same everywhere. Land and water relationship. Also, we studied latitudes. Latitudes. At different latitudes, the temperature is different. So, pressure also will be different. We know that the sun is above equator or the tropical region, always. It is above equatorial region or a tropical region. What is the tropical region? The areas between Tropic of Cancer and equator or Tropic of Capricorn and equator, these are tropical areas. The sun may come above these areas, but it will not go beyond the Tropic of Cancer or beyond the Tropic of Capricorn. As a result, towards the higher degrees of latitudes, much heat will not be there. In the areas where direct rays of the sun fall, in those areas, the temperature will be very high. And if the temperature is high, in those regions, pressure will be less. Here also another important thing, equatorial region is the hottest region. Equatorial region is the hottest region, and here the temperature is very high, so the air above the equatorial region heats up very fast, they rises up into the air, up in the air they cools down and come down. But remember, it is not like that. Suppose here is the ocean, equatorial regions are mostly oceans only, or land, whatever it is. Here, the air above this equatorial region heats up and it rose up, and this air becomes cool up in the sky and come down, but not there. It will not come down there only. What happens when this air rises up? The winds will spread them around. The wind will carry them away to the land or some distant places. In that area only, it will come down. Usually, it comes down in the subtropical region where there is no much heat, and automatically what happens in this region, because the cool air comes down, the pressure increases, so this region is named as subtropical high pressure area. Subtropical high pressure area, like that the place is named like that, subtropical high pressure area. The wind that we found wind, horizontal movement of air is wind. Wind is near to the surface of the earth, above the top of the atmosphere also there can be wind. When we speak about wind, wind has different names according to the speed they have. It is said that if the wind moves in a slow pace means a slow speed, and we feel very comfortable with it, then we call it a breeze. So slow and comfortable winds are called a breeze. Suppose if the wind comes in a short and fast burst, we call it a gust. That means wind comes in short, not for long time, short time only. In short and fast burst. If the wind blows very fast, if the wind moves very fast and blows things out, means make the things fall, such a strong wind is called a storm. And in Andhra Pradesh coast we have a very strong, very fast and strong winds called cyclones. Like that, winds are of several types according to their speed and nature. Okay. And these winds are moving across the world. So from this study we can understand the winds are caused by the changes in temperature, because the changes in temperature causes changes in pressure conditions, and from high pressure area to low pressure area the air moves and they are called winds. Already we discussed the equatorial region. So around the equator the pressure is very low, and equator which goes around the globe, so this pressure is almost same around the globe. So we call it a pressure belt. What pressure belt? Equatorial low pressure belt. Because of the high temperature present in the equatorial region, here always the pressure is low, so we call it equatorial low pressure belt, or the intertropical convergence zone. Intertropical convergence zone is the other name of this equatorial low pressure belt. In short form we call it ITCZ. ITCZ. Intertropical convergence zone. That's the full form of ITCZ. Okay. And in this area only what happened? The air becomes hot, rises up, and up in the air, up in the sky it cools down, and this air is spread either towards the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. There it sinks back to the earth, creating a high pressure in this region, which is called a subtropical high pressure belt. Okay. And also on the earth's surface, it is split into two parts. the downcoming wind split into two parts. One part again rushes towards the equatorial lower pressure area. The wind that sinks from the top after coming down on the surface of the earth split into two. One branch will go to the equatorial region again heats up, again rises and come down as cool air, like that. And when they get there, they heat again and rise. So the equatorial cycling of wind continues like that. Equatorial cycle of wind. The other part is pushed towards the next higher latitudes. Next higher latitudes where the pressure is lower. Wherever the pressure is lower to that area, the other branch is pushed. Okay. We shall discuss the rest of it in the next class. Till then you read it very well. So your questions here. What is called air pressure? Question number 1. What is called air pressure? Next question. What happens when the air is heated up? What happens when the air is heated up? Third question. What is called an inverse relationship? What is called an inverse relationship? Question number 4. Why do we say that wind flows from high pressure areas to low pressure areas? Why do we say that wind flows from high pressure areas to low pressure areas? Question number 5. How or why are the pressures varying from place to place? Why are the pressures varying from place to place? Sixth question. What is called a breeze? What is called a breeze? 7. What is called a gust? What is called a gust? 8. What is called a storm? What is called a storm? 9. What is the full form of ITCZ? What is the full form of ITCZ? Question mark. What is it? 10. What is called subtropical high pressure belt? What is called subtropical high pressure belt? Write answer to these questions and compulsorily send to my WhatsApp number. Okay? Thank you.